Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Bufnagle the podcast, where we explore entertaining and enlightening discussions of the adventure of life and all things good. From science and technology to history and philosophy to leadership and success. We hope to give you a better understanding of the world and skills for everyone to pursue their own adventure. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bufnagle the podcast, where we talk about all things good in the pursuit of the adventure of life. I'm Zach, and we got a really good show today where we're talking about legacy, honoring people, and what we can do to carry on that legacy and help other people get through a difficult time or a struggling time because of the lessons people put forth before us. However, I can't just do this alone, so I'm joined by Rafe. Actually, I'm not joined by Rafe today. I'm doing this all by myself. It's going to be a little shorter episode than normal. So you're stuck with me for the next 20 to 25 minutes as we explore the topic for today. So, as always, I would like to thank our listeners because without our listeners, we are nothing when we're just talking and spreading this adventures and these stories to nobody. And that's no fun. So, if you have a friend who has not listened to the Buffnagle podcast, I encourage you to encourage them to listen. If you're new to our podcast, thank you for giving us a chance. Give us a couple episodes. We talk about a various range of things: technology, mental health, leadership, and a bunch of things in between. So we're happy you're here for the journey. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified when we drop new episodes. And as always, if you like what you hear, leave a review. If you have any other questions, comments, concerns for us, email us at bufnagle@bufnagle.com and we'll be sure to get back to you. Anyways, moving on to today's topic. As I mentioned earlier, we're talking about carrying on a legacy, how to carry on someone's legacy, how to take the lessons that they taught us and to put that into practice and to help others and just kind of spread goodness, spread kindness, and spread grace and hopefully positively impact those people who are our friends, our family, our teammates, our coworkers, and any other event or group space that we're in so that we can all rise up and become better together. So with that groundwork set, I got a couple stories to tell today. It is August 22nd when I'm recording this. Earlier this week was the 7-year anniversary of a former teammate of mine's death. He passed away 2014. It has been difficult living with that and knowing that he is no longer with us. But for myself, and for others who knew him, I get the pleasure to carry on his legacy. And if you knew this guy, I think the first thing you would say about him is he had a smile that could light up a room. That he was always happy. He had this way about him that you couldn't really touch. It was that he was on like a higher plane almost. Like he was just floating and grazing on by, and he was just happy to have you around. He always pulled people up. He met them where they were at, and he made you feel special being his friend. And I had the pleasure of knowing him since I was in 6th grade. My brother was a year older than me. He's been on this podcast before. And then my friend was my brother's grade. So I grew up with my brother and then my friend who was like another big brother to me. He was, there every step of the way. He played travel baseball with my brother. And when my brother was playing travel baseball, I was their ball boy. I would go to practices, help them out any way I could. And that meant that I was around my brother and my friend through summers and through falls and through springs. Playing football, playing baseball, playing sports, just being in that same similar environment. And we grew up together, and he positively impacted my life in ways that I feel like I now need to give back to honor his legacy and honor who he was as an individual. And that's what I'm doing today. This is a little difficult for me to talk about because dealing with the grief is hard, because we grieve deeply because we love deeply. And recognizing that and understanding that and then using that as a catalyst for growth and change and kindness and grace is an important thing to do. And that's what I am here to do today, to honor my other big brother whose smile could light up a night sky, who had this way about him that people just wanted to be around. And it was so special, because like when he did something big and strong, like he would bring you all along for that journey. He would make you feel a part of a group, even if you weren't a part of that group. I don't know how he did it. I really don't. I wish I had that ability, but it's just how it was. And I think it's a truly special thing. Not all of us can be leaders. Not all of us are called to be leaders. He was called to be a leader, and he did it in the most graceful way I've ever seen. And as I have been put in leadership positions, I think I have learned from him in that. Like I mentioned earlier, I was the ball boy for my brother's travel baseball team, and he was on these teams as well. He was a fantastic ball player. He was always able to play any position on the field. He could hit for power. He could hit for contact. If you needed him to do something, he would do it. And he would have a lot of fun doing it. I mentioned, I will keep coming back to this because I think it's so important. I mean, he had a smile anytime I saw it, was anytime he was present. Like that's just what he did. He was just smiling because he was just happy to be around his teammates, to be around his friends, and to experience those moments with them. And I distinctly remember this. I don't know, maybe I was in 7th grade or 8th grade or whatever it was, but they were playing some travel tournament down in southern Tennessee, near the Alabama border somewhere. And it's a travel baseball game, so games go to like ridiculous o'clock at night, and everyone's always tired, and it's difficult. But as ball boy, I was in that dugout all the time, so I got to know these players when they had innings off or they weren't playing in a game or something like that. And I remember this one game, we were up by a lot. He was chilling on the bench because he got an odd inning off, which was uncommon for him because he was a good player. So coaches wanted him on the field, and so it was just me and him in the dugout. We're up by a trillion. And he keeps throwing, those little bubble gum, individually wrapped pieces at me, and they taste terribly. They taste wonderfully for like 10 seconds, and then their taste goes away, and you're like, "Why am I chewing this thing?" But he kept throwing at me because he's like, "Hey, Zach, how many pieces of gum do you think you can put in your mouth?" So I just I don't know, this is fun. So I just kept putting pieces of gum in my mouth as he's walking around in the dugout, just having a good old time with this massive smile on his face, singing Rolling Stones, which it was just, here he is, this singing, you can't always get what you want, throwing gum at the tiny ball boy, and just enjoying life. And I'm reminded of that moment anytime I watch a baseball game, because being in that dugout with him and the rest of the players on that team was special. But sharing that moment of him singing Rolling Stones and throwing gum at me as we're up by 1,000,000, neither one of us were actually paying attention to the game. That's another point. But we're just having fun and enjoying the company of teamwork and enjoying the company of each other, and recognizing that sometimes, even if you're doing a thing that's high level competition, travel baseball, whatever it may be, just like taking time a little bit to slow down and like appreciate life a little bit. And he did that better than anyone else I knew. I mean, this guy was a fantastic athlete. He is still to this day, one of the top 5 athletes I have ever played with or interacted with on any level. Just extremely talented. And I got the opportunity to share the field with him, and he just always made things better. His senior year was my junior year. As I mentioned earlier, he was a year older than me, and unfortunately, for the first game of the season, he was injured. I believe it was a leg issue, so he was walking around with crutches on, actually. And we were playing poorly, and everyone, the feeling on the sidelines kind of tense. You kind of like trying to figure out what's going on next. Everyone's a little hesitant. First game of the season, you have high expectations. Your team is playing poorly. It's a difficult situation to be in as a team, but I had my spot at the end of the sidelines that I would always sit, just because it was a better angle for me to watch our team play. I wasn't getting a lot of minutes, really no reason for me to be getting a lot of minutes, but in the third quarter, he just kind of comes up to me and he looks down at me. He goes, "Hey Zach, give me your jersey." I go, "Why do you want my jersey?" He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go in for you." It's like, "You're injured." He's like, nah, it'll be fine. I'll just like take your pads. I'll put your jersey on. Like, I'll get like 5 touchdowns, and then you'll get all these scholarship offers. And he's just grinning the whole time, and like I'm like wait, are you serious? He's like, yeah, it'll be great. You'll be great. And then he like stops for like a little bit. Some play happened, and he goes, "Wait, did you believe me? Do you think that would actually work? Do you think I convinced coach that we could do that?" And he's just going on for like the whole third quarter about this brilliant idea he has of taking all of my gear and like putting it on and like going to play, because he's like, "Hey, I want to play. I'm injured, but it doesn't matter. I'll pretend to be you." It's like it's this very comical moment of just him just like so excited and upbeat about this, like hanging out with his teammates. Like he did that on so many different levels. Even if it was like a practice or just guys hanging out in the locker room, like he made people feel like they belonged. Like I had the benefit of knowing him for 6 years, since I was in sixth grade, and like we grew up together in those same athletic environments. And I think because of that, he helped me feel welcomed in a space where there are talented athletes, guys who are bigger, stronger, faster than I was, especially in high school. Got guys who were, you know, probably maybe looked down on me, but like he helped me feel like I belonged. Like, I would play on the scout team offense, and I would face our top defense, and sometimes that meant I would get, big hits to me and stuff like that. But I would always get up, and he would always be there, like reinforcing us as a scout team, me as a player and an individual, kind of like pushing us on, nagging us on that we could be better, and we could compete and help the guys on defense, and not make those guys who were making the big hits feel like they were superstars, like pushing them a little bit, taking them to the next level. Like he encouraged that. But and he did it all like by showing so much kindness and so much grace. And I think that it's hard to live today knowing that he's not here to do that anymore. That for me today, I get all these memories, and all I got are memories. And if I just hold on to those memories, that's pretty cool. Like I really like these stories. They put a massive smile on my face. If you guys could see my face right now, I'm grinning pretty big. But also at the same time, I know that he's no longer here, and I would do anything to see his smile again in real life. If it meant I lose all these memories, I'd do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. But I don't get to do that. So instead, I get the lessons from him, the lessons of kindness, the lessons of making people and helping people feel like they belong. There are, and for me, as an undersized guy playing high school football in the South, it was difficult. It was hard to, fit in that macho mano style, but he reached out. He was there. He was present. He helped me feel like I belonged and I could fit in. And he invited me to, maybe like if it was at the school cafeteria, get lunch or sit with, him and some of the other, I'm going to say elite starting players that were, talented. And he brought me into those groups. He did those things not because he felt called to do them, but because that's just who he was as a person. He was always looking for the happier side, the lighter side, the positive. And I think myself now today in the position of, still playing rugby, wanting to coach rugby, do all those things, I can do what he did on a different level. If there's a new player, I can help him out, make him feel part of a group, part of a team. I can show that kindness that he showed me, that life is sometimes a little better with a smile on it. If you, I can talk about it for days. Like, he had this grin, and he was always grinning, just always looking for the positive and the happy. But now it's not there anymore. I wrote a poem when I found out about his death, and everything wrote back to the idea of shining a light onto the world like he did. And I think that's what we have as a gift today, is we can sit on all these memories and celebrate them. And that's good, and that's good to do. But what's really, really good to do is to do what he did, to meet others where they're at. He did that on so many levels. Like, he saw the undersized misfit kid and he welcomed him, and he made him feel like a part of the team, a part of the group, a part of whatever we were going forward. He made me feel part of that. And people can't take that away from me, and they can't take that away from him. That in all honesty, that's what leadership is showing up and doing that thing to bring people together and unite them. And I've mentioned it a million times already, and I always will, is he had this smile that he approached everything to. He was positive. He was injured his senior year playing high school football with opportunity for lots of scholarships, and he was joking on the sidelines with me about pretending to be me so I could get scholarships. He was just, and we were losing the game. I don't know how he was positive, but he was finding the light, that spark in the world, and he was chasing it and going after it. He was everything you wanted to be in a teammate. That positivity, that kindness, that grace that he showed, the ability of him to connect and brighten a room and brighten the world. And the world's a little darker without him. But we as individuals, we as those who knew him, have a gift to brighten the world like he did. And so we can spread joy, we can spread kindness, we can do all of those things, because the moment we stop doing them is the moment that these memories just become memories and there's no connection to them. But if we can do the difficult thing or the hard thing of showing up and finding the positive light, finding a way to smile, finding that goodness that we talk about on this podcast a lot, we can carry that legacy further. it doesn't end with just us. We can be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to reach out to someone. I'm going to check in on them. I'm going to make sure that they know that they're loved and cared for. I'm going to be positive, upfront, and caring. And we're going to find the joy and the happy moments more, and we're going to embrace them. Embrace our family, embrace our friends. Not be afraid to show maybe what's considered weakness or not strength. And that's kind of where I'm at today. Working through these feelings of grief, of sadness. It's tough. But also remembering that these feelings don't exist in isolation. They exist because I had a teammate, a friend, a family member who is no longer with us. And the best thing I can do to remember him is to carry on life like he would, to find that joy, to find that happiness, to find that smile and light somebody else up. Because when I'm not here anymore, when you're not here anymore as a listener, when somebody else isn't around, you want them to carry on your legacy. And if you want that legacy to be something positive, and if not, then what's really the point of doing all this? So I think we have the greatest gift that we can give to each other is to show that kindness, to show that grace, to show that love. Be there for one another. And so that's what I'm asking you all as listeners to do today. Take time out of your day, send a text message to someone. Send a phone call. Check in on your people. Make sure they know how much you care, what you mean to them, why it's important to carry on, and find a way to smile. Yeah, the world can be a dark place. Yeah, it can be tough. But we have a duty to one another, and we have a duty to those who we have lost and we don't get to see anymore, to carry on their memory, to carry on their light, and make the world a better and brighter place. Because I have a friend that doesn't get to do that anymore. And I would love to have him do that again, but he can't. So I'm asking you all to do that today. I know this is a little sad, a little sappy, but I think it's important to remember that even if it is, it's okay. Because at the end of the day, we can take all of that, whatever it may be, and we can celebrate the joy and happiness in life and go forward. So I want to thank all of you for listening. I want you to go seek the good, be the good, and spread the good. Enjoy the adventure of life.